All right, let's get back to it. We got people dying left and right here in Umineko, part 21. Three deaths in the last two episodes. And, if there were some more deaths soon after, I would not be surprised, to be honest. We seem to be, dwindling. We've got half our family left, family plus staff. Um, and people are separated left and right, and every time someone goes off, boom, dead. Ava and Hideyoshi decide to go to the rooms, gone. Cannon decides to run down the basement by himself, gone. People need to stick together. It's the number one rule of like horror and slasher and killer stories. You don't wander off. You don't go off on your own. I mean, we got help coming. Well, okay, they think they have help coming in a matter of mere hours. It shouldn't be hard. We don't need to go make extravagant dishes in the kitchen. We just need to huddle up for a few hours until morning. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Let's be real. I wouldn't be surprised. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Okay. Um, I would appreciate no more flashes of Beatrice against the wall or anything. I would like a nice calming episode after those last two tension-filled roller coasters, please. A little relaxing time. I don't think anything can be relaxing in this situation right now, but please. Alright, let's get into it. I returned to the boiler room along with Aunt Natsuhi and told everyone weakly that we hadn't found anything. Oh, right, and, we do not yet have an update for Canon, so we'll wait for that. We heard that Dr. Nanjo and George Aniki had carried Canon-kun to the servant room. The servant room had a first aid kit and sink, and could apparently function as a nurse's office. Kumasawa-san and Jessica had accompanied them. Stains from Canon-kun's blood remained on the floor. Wait, is he not dead? He's dead, right? That's not why we don't have a thing, right? Is he not dead? What? Oh, I could be being an absolute idiot right now. Let's keep reading. Judging by the large amount of blood lost and the ruthless shape of the weapon that had fallen carelessly to the ground, I figured that Dr. Nanjo's treatment would probably end in vain. He is not officially dead yet. Okay. Wow. Do you think that's because the deaths have to line up with the rules? And so no one's going to die outside of the rule set? And so he received a debilitating wound but not a mortal wound? Maybe? I mean, he received a gouge to the chest, right? Well, gouge, I don't. That's a long way off though. Unless he survived until the fifth twilight and then died or something. I figured that Dr. Nanjo's treatment would probably end in vain. Already read that. The weapon was doubtlessly the same type that had been stuck in Aunt Ava and Uncle Hideyoshi's foreheads. But wait, isn't the demonic design on the handle a little different? There seemed to be some small differences in that part. Still, as far as their overall shape was concerned, the weapons were of all the same type. Though it had seemed brutal, we'd left the weapon stuck into Aunt Ava and Uncle Hideyoshi to preserve the crime scene. So this was the first time we were able to have a perfect view of the entire weapon. As we had expected, the weapon was not bladed like a knife, but shaped like an ice pick, or rather a thin snake. And it had a spiral-shaped pattern, sort of like a drill. Okay, I remember that in the ones we saw in, or the one we saw in Uncle Hideyoshi's forehead. It looked like something that might be driven into the hearts of human sacrifices in some demonic ritual. Including the handle, it was 25 centimeters long. Half of that was the stake-shaped part, which was stained with deep red blood. The length of the blood-stained part made it clear just how deeply it must have penetrated into Kanen-kun's chest. But Aunt Natsuhi and the rest didn't even look at the weapon, and instead stood in front of the incinerator, where the horrible stench was emanating from. There aren't bodies in there, right? They must have dragged it out. Dragged out that thing which had been burning in the furnace. It was still smoldering, and kept sending out dense waves of that awfully unpleasant smell. Genji-san and Maria stared down at it. Aunt Natsuhi probably couldn't stand to look directly at it. She kept shaking her head, her back to it. It's not, Kraus, is it? I thought nothing could surprise me after everything that's happened, but this is... It's not Kinzo, is it? Like, my first assumption would be one of the bodies from the shed. But I guess it could be Kinzo. I stood there for a while, moaning with a rising urge to vomit. The true source of that unearthly stench was a scorched corpse that had been cooking inside the incinerator. Ugh, burnt flesh smell filling up the entire mansion. The clothes, the surface of the body, and the hair were all hideously burned. That grotesque corpse was in a state where not the face, nor the age, nor even the gender could be guessed at. Oh, we don't know. Alright. We're not gonna realize. Oh. But when I thought about it calmly, I realized that a corpse appearing at this time could only be one person. That's not true. If you're about to say Kinzo, it could easily be a body, right? It was grandfather who had disappeared that morning, and whose whereabouts had been unknown. I don't know if I should be just taking your word for it because the story tells me it is, or if he's not thinking about the fact that a already dead body could totally be put in the furnace, right? Most likely, but not guaranteed. Okay. For the sake of the story, let's just agree with them and say, okay, it's Kinzo. And if they pull out something like, oh, it wasn't Kinzo, we'll just say, okay. We'll assume it's Kinzo for the moment. Oh. We are going to bring it up. Because, Balor, you literally just said there's only one person it could be. You just said it could only be one person, and now you're saying, are we sure? I mean, I agree with you now. We're not sure. Aunt Natsuhi, with her handkerchief over her mouth and her eyes averted, pointed and told me to look at the burnt corpse's feet. Huh? 6 toes? Just as Genji-san had said, there were 6 toes on each foot. Was that the... No. I wasn't sure if that was the audio cue that the tips had been updated, because I'm still not quite sure what it sounds like. But nothing has updated, so I guess that was not that sound. Each individual toe had looked so normal in its line that I hadn't noticed. Interesting. That is strange. Especially on both feet.
そして故に親方様は後ろ宮家の再興を託されたのです。
後ろ宮家には昔から生まれつき多子症の方が多かったそうです。
So was it assumed that he had purest blood?
遺伝的なものでしょう。
Is that why he... Polydactyly literally means many fingers. Because of a little mistake by God when the person is born, one of their toes or fingers splits into two, and the total number increases. But a big deal isn't usually made of polydactyly in the world at large. That's because it isn't a disease, just something people are born with. So while they are still babies, at about the time they turn 1 year old, they can be taken to the hospital and given surgery to make them normal. Even a child with polydactyly can be treated before they become aware, so they might not even remember it themselves. By the way, it seems there is a possibility for this to occur in 1 out of every 2,000 babies. So even though it's not usually seen, it isn't that rare at all. Speaking of which, I think Uncle Hideyoshi mentioned something to me long ago. Something about how even Toyotomi Hideyoshi, the man who's unified Japan at the end of the Sengoku period, had 6 fingers on one hand. According to On Natsuhi, among the many Irashiromiya family heads, the ones most praised for their wisdom all had polydactyly. Huh. I would assume that's just coincidence. Because of that, when grandfather was born, his relatives were all excited at the thought that he might become another wise leader. And when the leading relatives all died in the Great Kanto earthquake, it was apparently argued the grandfather should be the one to restore the family, because of the auspicious sign of his birth. Okay. If grandfather hadn't disliked his position as the head so much, this 6th toe probably would have been pretty lucky for him. Come to think of it, I've heard about some country where it's believed people with polydactyly should be treated as gods and revered. Don't know what country that is. This is beside the point, but it's fairly common in mystery novels for a corpse to be burned to hide its identity. But I guess in grandfather's case, just toasting him wouldn't be enough. Okay. I'm just trying to think, like, is there a chance no one's ever seen Shannon's toes before? Of course, then we get into, like, the whole, like, well, what if Shannon's Ushinomiya blood then? No. But, okay, I guess we're just going to use this as confirmation that it's definitely Kinzo. And grandfather's body was not simply burnt. No, I mean, I get why we'd use it as confirmation for Kinzo. Like, it's an extremely rare thing, especially on two feet. But it also seems like it could be setting something up for, like, a little twist where someone else also had it. That'd be a little weird and far-fetched, but I guess it's possible. We'll stick with Kinzo for now. It was just like on Eva and Uncle Hideyoshi, and the thing that had been stabbed into Cannon-kun's chest. One of those demon ice picks was stuck in his forehead. Well, okay, that's different than the people in the shed. Oh, okay, it's the drop, is it? The drop of water sound is the update sound. Noted. Okay. Let's read it. Oh my god. Burned all over, I guess. burned in the incinerator with a weapon resembling an ice pick sticking out of his forehead. The old sorcerer's wish vanished before it could be granted. He always knew that this was one possible result of his risky gamble. Okay. 10 down, 8 to go. I mean, wow. All right.
指に当主の指輪がありません。
Yeah, he threw that off.
昨夜の手紙の通りということですか。お父様、さぞやご無念でしょう。
Natsuhi let her head droop and closed her eyes tightly. This room had also become a vital crime scene for us to hand over to the police. It was decided that we would leave grandfather's corpse here and lock the room, sealing it. It isn't clear when grandfather's corpse started burning in the incinerator, since, according to Genji, the strength of the flames hadn't been that strong. The body must have started burning a long time ago. So that stench could slowly creep out of the furnace and fill the room bit by bit, eventually pouring out and climbing up the staircase. Putting aside whether he was rare or well done. Oh my god, what? Grandfather had been brought out, killed, and burned. Do you really need to put it like that? Even though he had started out locked away in the closed room created by his auto-lock. There's probably no doubting this. However, according to Genji-san, the boiler room is usually locked. The possibility that someone outside our group had snuck in and committed the crime was overwhelmingly high. And there was also a good chance that this person was walking around with something like a master key. I mean, I'd say we've seen Beatrice's spells for getting through doors and such, but I don't believe there were any markings on any of the doors around here. After all, the doors and windows throughout the mansion had been checked, but despite that, the culprit was able to strut around the mansion freely. So, the third murder is yet again door-related, or, limited by its door accessibility. Does this crime confirm that a 19th person exists? Ooh. I might have heard this one before. I'm not sure. There's still that contradiction, since they're trying to tout their existence without ever showing themselves once. I like it. Kind of feels almost 80s horror-ish movie kind of thing. It's pretty neat. It's kind of it's the vibe it's given me. Along with Kitty-san's chessboard theory, I've been using this contradiction to deny the existence of a 19th person by spinning the chessboard around once more. The very fact that this crime makes it perfectly obvious that a 19th person exists means that the existence of the 19th person is even less plausible. So you're saying the more every crime tries to make it look like there's another person, makes it less likely that there's another person. As long as that 19th person doesn't show themselves in front of us, if the culprit could get grandfather out of the door sealed by the receipt, if they could kill Aunt Ava and Uncle Hideyoshi from the other side of a door sealed by a chain, then they could possibly go so far as to create a fictional 19th person through strange tricks and devices. If we still want to believe that the culprit is among the 18, then the list of suspects has grown very short. four of us kids, Aunt Natsuhi, Genji-san, Kumasawa Ba-chan, and Dr. Nanjo. One of these people has to be the culprit. That's the 8. I still can't believe that everyone is staff other than Aunt Natsuhi for the adults. Every adult is gone now other than staff and Aunt Natsuhi. She's the only Yoshida Miya family member left. That is so weird. Like, Aunt Yoshida Miya adult left. Wait, we can't be sure of that. Just a second ago, we started doubting whether the corpse here was actually grandfather's, right? Maybe we can think of the other bodies in the same way. For example, the first 6 all had their faces horribly smashed. Wait, let me just reread that again. Oh. You're saying, what if... What? You're saying, what if one of the other corpses was not who it appeared to be? Some of the bodies had kept enough of their faces for us to confirm who they were, but that old bastard, for example, had lost his entire face, as though the whole thing had been neatly peeled off. We only figured out which body was which by their clothes and surroundings. What other body would it be? Like, they would have to produce a body that isn't his if they wanted to make... Not really sure what you're getting at here. Did the culprit prepare a fake body beforehand? See, that's what I'm saying. Like, what? Fake body. And alter it to make it look like they died, even though they were actually hiding somewhere after committing the crime. Oh, you're saying the culprit was one of the bodies. It may sound ridiculous, but it wouldn't be an impossible trick to pull off. It's too early to give in to this 19th person. No, this witch. So... I guess if you want to claim that each... Would you be saying that either Ava or Hideyoshi was actually the killer, just alive and hiding? I mean, no, they were all checked by Nanjo to make sure they were alive or not. So they wouldn't have had a pulse. Didn't Nanjo check the people in the shed too? Sorry, I might be rambling too much about theories this episode. I might be, and not getting anywhere, just like talking and talking and talking without actually figuring anything out. I'm going to try to move a bit faster to see if the game answers some of my questions here, rather than just endlessly droning on. Oh, you guys are just letting Maria sit there in front of the charred body? I mean, I get Maria's not normal, but normally you would never want your 9-year-old kid to be looking at dead bodies, even at a glance. Maria didn't go out with everyone else, but remained in the boiler room. The thing she was staring so fixedly at probably wasn't grandfather's body, but the demon's ice pick sticking out of his forehead. It was probably the sort of item that an enthusiast couldn't bear to ignore. I tapped her on the head.
Oi, Maria.
Oh, not a bonk?
Beatriceの目的は何なんだ? 俺たち全員の命か?
That switch, man. It always like takes a few seconds too long, which makes it even creepier because you're like, is she gonna do it or isn't she? I think the witch just wants to revive, and she's using you guys as a means to do it.
Beatrice はもうすぐ蘇るんだよ。その時、誰も生き残れはしない。
よくも笑えるもんだぜ。自分だけ蚊帳の外だと思ってるのか？どうして自分の身に危機が迫っていると感じない？ どうして怯えない？
ベアトリーチェは約束してくれたもん。マリアは黄金郷へ連れて行ってもらえるんだよ。そこはね、しがらみも何もない全ての人たちがずっと一緒にいつまでも優しくし合っていける素敵な場所なんだよ。
Is that where you think you're gonna see your mom again?
マリアは楽しみだよ。その時はもうすぐだもん。
Oh. Just what kind of person is Maria? I only know what Maria was like 6 years ago, when she was 3. She was acting like such a child when the Rose stuff was happening, and when she couldn't find a Rose, well, everything before the murders, she was such a child. She was acting, you know, even immature for a 9-year-old with all the ooze and everything. And now she's like, boom, suddenly like practically an adult. Like she went through a change overnight. She was once pure and obedient, a good kid. This new Maria 6 years later and the Maria I knew didn't seem to fit together. I mean, no, they did fit together for the first day. This is a new personality. This wasn't like this before the murders. Just who is she, this witch who calls herself Maria? To Maria, who obstinately believes in the witch, this series of unsolvable crimes is proof that the witch actually exists. Every time something occurs that would be difficult for a human, it becomes a little harder for the rest of us not to believe in Beatrice. It must be an intense pleasure for Maria to see her relatives, who once firmly denied the witch's existence, start acknowledging that witch's existence one by one. Is that why she's in high spirits?
マリア、もう一遍だけ聞く。どうせ答えは同じだろうが、もう一遍だけ聞く。お前は昨日バラ庭園で手紙をもらった。そいつは誰なんだ？
おう、だからベアトリーチェ。バトラがまだ信じない。おう。
Maria only repeated what she had already said. Maria met with the 19th person, the witch. Was that really a 19th person, or did one of the 18 just get her to say that? All that's certain is that Maria has been with the rest of us constantly, has always had an alibi, and hasn't done anything suspicious. Well, that last part's questionable. She's a pretty suspicious person in general nowadays. She's simply overjoyed at being made Beatrice's messenger, and certainly isn't the 19th person. Supposedly. That's right. I wonder what's written in the letter we picked up in Aunt Ava and Uncle Hideyoshi's room. I forgot about that. Cannon's attack and Kinzo's death completely made me forget about that. Aunt Natsuhi should still have it with her. Okay. Let's go check it out. Oh. Man, I really thought it was later than that. I feel like we've been on 7 o'clock for episodes. Wow. Okay. In the end, Ken-kun did not regain consciousness. Even though Dr. Nanjo and the rest did all they could to heal him, of course, there was very little that could be done on an island like this without medicine or proper facilities. Was that drop the... Oh, man. However, Cannon was the only human ever to confront the culprit. If only he could give us some kind of clue. However, at the time they carried Cannon away, it was already too late.
申し訳ありません。あのような重傷を 設備のないところではどうしようも。
That's 4 people we've lost in 3 episodes. Ugh. We're getting like 1 to 2 an episode now. Alright, let's read cannons. Servant cannon. Found in the boiler room with a weapon resembling an ice pick sticking out of his chest. How presumptuous of lowly furniture like that. Ooh. Huh. Alright. Lowly furniture, huh? Well. Now. No. Those who remain shall praise my noble name. Alright. That is Nanjo's line.
いえ、無理もないことです。最善を尽くしてくださりありがとうございました。
Dr. Nanjo's shirt had been sprayed by a violent spurt of blood, so it was easy to imagine the devotion with which he had tried to save Cannon's life up until the last second. Jessica was crouched in the corridor, crying softly. She had probably been taking care of Cannon-kun until the moment of his death. George Anarchy tried to approach her with words of comfort, but when Jessica pushed him away, he stopped trying to force her to talk and left her alone.
私がカノンさんを一人で行かせなければ。
You said it yourself. If you had gone down there, you would have been 0 help, and you probably would have died yourself.
気に病むことはない。仮に一緒だったら熊沢も襲われていたかもしれん。それに愚かにも先走ったゆえの自業自得だ。
そんな言い方ってねえぜ。カノン君は犯人の姿を見つけて勇敢に立ち向かったんだ。
I mean, I get that he wanted to catch them. It's a tricky situation. Do you go ahead and catch them, put yourself at risk, or do you stay safe because every person that the group loses means they're that much less defended?
熊沢さんも一緒だったら犯人は躊躇して逃げることを選んだかもしれない。
I don't think Grandma Kumasawa, Oba-chan over here, would have had that much presence. Emotion-filled words that I never thought I'd hear coming from Jessica's mouth tumbled out. Kumasawa, looking truly sorry, could do nothing but hang her head.
ジェシカ、今は言葉をかけるべきじゃない。僕だって、そしてバトラ君もだろう。もう何が何だかわからなくて心が張り裂けそうだよ。
Oh, George. There were tears in George Anarchy's eyes again. Seeing Jessica break down crying probably brought back the pain of losing his parents. I'd done my crying all at once, so I didn't feel like crying anymore. However, I understood how great the pain in their hearts was.
大丈夫だよ、ジェシカ。
I don't know about doing all the crying all at once. You even started crying, outside on Eva and Uncle Hideyoshi's room when that happened. And that was after you had done your big cry. Alright, Maria, say something nice, please.
カノンにだってまたすぐ会えるよ。
That doesn't sound nice in context. I know you mean like reviving, I assume. Okay, wait, that definitely confirms that she is the one talking about Rosa. So you either mean Jessica's gonna be dead soon or Cannon's gonna be back soon.
よしてくれよ。
Either way, I mean,
そういう慰めはいらねえぜ。
ベアトリーチェは死者も失った愛
oh,
すらも蘇
stop,
らせる。
stop, stop, please stop,
だからきっとすぐに会えるよ。
stop.
そしてきっとみんなで穏やかに過ごせるから。
Even love that has been lost.
カノン君を殺したのがマリアに昨日手紙を渡したっていうベアトリーチェなのか。そいつはどこにいるんだよ。どこに隠れてるんだよ。私が見つけて引き裂いてやる。言えよ。知ってるんだろ、犯人の正体を。
What was that?
お前は何を知っていて何を隠してるんだ。話しやがれ。
Why is the screen shaking? What is she doing?
おやめください。
Stomping? Or are you hitting her?
ベアトリーチェ
Oh, okay, no. You've reverted back to regular, Maria?
ちくしょう。検事さん話せよ。マリアが犯人を知ってる。しかもそいつは知ってて隠してるんだ。そして俺たちの内情を伝えて殺しの手引きをしてるに違いないんだぜ。
ジェシカ、静かにしなさい。
Jessica grabbed at Maria. Genji tried to stop her, but Jessica could not be calmed. The next thing I heard was the sound of Aunt Natsuhi slapping Jessica's face. Moms slap their daughters in this game all the time. Gotta set them straight, I guess. After that, only Jessica's sorrowful sobbing voice resounded through the hall.
マリアちゃん、僕は君が断じて犯人ではないことを知っている。君はいつも僕たちと一緒にいたし、犯人なんかと通じている時間はなかった。だから
Right.
聞かせてほしい。君に昨日手紙を渡したベアトリーチェとは誰なんだい？
Beotarichi is Beotarichi. Although those words seemed kind, they clearly showed that George still had some remaining doubts about Maria. He didn't actually grab at her. However, he felt exactly the same way Jessica did.
兄貴、同じことは俺もさっき聞いたぜ。返事は同じさ。
マリアちゃんの口から聞きたい。
Yeah,
ベ
but
アトリーチェとは誰なんだい？
言ってもどうせ信じない。
それはどういう意味だい？ひょっとして僕らのよく知る人物が犯人で、君は何かの事情からそれをかばうために黙っているというのかい？君はあの手紙を誰にもらったんだい？
ベアトリーチェにもらったんだよ。
we're not getting anywhere asking these. We have asked her this question at least 20 times. Her answer has never, ever changed from this exact answer. Stop asking it like you think you're gonna get a different answer. She's not going to say anything different, even if you don't believe her answer.
何度だって言う。
Yes, she will.
手紙はベアトリーチェにもらった。ジョージお兄ちゃんがベアトリーチェを信じないのは殴れる相手じゃないから。ジョージお兄ちゃんはやるせない気持ちを暴力に変えて誰かにぶつけたいと思っている。
I'm sure a lot of them do.
だから殴れる相手が人間じゃなきゃ収まりがつかない。だからそんなジョージお兄ちゃんには真実を話しても受け。だから言っても無駄。信じない。でもマリアは何度も言うよ。真実だから言うよ。ベアトリーチェはね。黄金鏡の扉はもうすぐ開かれるよ。マリアはそこに行くの。ベアトリーチェが約束してくれたの。 その世界ではママも優しくてパパも一緒で優しいの。
You want to go to a world where, Mama's nice, Papa's nice, Papa's with you.
マリアは早くそこへ行きたいの。みんなはベアトリーチェのことを恐れている。
It sounds like it's just a version of heaven or something. What's it called? The Golden Land. It sounds just like, yeah, like a heaven type place. If everyone's alive who's died, everyone's nice and happy and loving and...
そしてそれは無理もないことだけど、なら安心して。ベアトリーチェは言ってたよ。台風が去るまでに全てを終わらせるからって。
Typhoon is supposed to end tonight or in the morning. Oh boy.
饒舌なマリアも嫌いじゃねえが、とりあえずはそのくらいにしとけ。魔女はいるいる言ってたお前にとってさぞや現状は愉快だろうが、とりあえずそいつはお前だけで噛み締めとけ。他人にまで押し付けるんじゃねえ。
おお。
こいつ前から気持ち悪いやつだと思ってたけど、おかしいぜ。どっかおかしいぜ。
I'm glad someone said something.
バトラは思わねえのかよ。ケンジさんは、熊沢さんは、母さんはどうだよ。マリアは犯人の正体を知ってて隠してる。確かに直接手を下してるわけじゃないかもしれない。でも間違いなく犯人の一味だぜ。そうさ、スパイさ。私たちと一緒になんかいさせられないぜ。
マリアちゃん、不謹慎な話を慎むべき時もあることを知りなさい。これ以上混乱に油を注ぐような真似が過ぎれば。
Onatsuhi glared at Maria with frightening eyes. Maria was used to Onrosa's loud style of scolding, but she apparently hadn't built up a resistance to Onatsuhi's quiet sort of scolding. She shrugged and kept her mouth shut. Oh, there you go. That worked. A desolate feeling filled the room. It felt as though things would just get more complicated if anyone spoke. How many people have already died? 6 people in Dad's group. After that, both Aunt Ava and Uncle Hideyoshi, Canon-kun, grandfather. There were a whole 18 people on this island, supposedly, and 10 of those people had been killed. That's more than half of us. And right now, there's absolutely no proof that the remaining 8 people will be safe. Is that a stopping point?
とにかく今は仲違いをしている時ではありま
It
せん。
kind of seemed like a longer black screen, and the music stopped. Okay. We will call it there. Man. Maria continues to just stand on the sidelines, kee-hee-hee at everyone, and just like know what's going on, but not really give any information other than, it's the witch. I'm surprised she hasn't gotten on people's nerves more than she already has. Like, the fact that Jessica's finally now just the first one to lash out at her is surprising. Especially because she's always like laughing and smiling around the bodies and staring at them and just being extremely disrespectful. I mean, I know she's 9, so you have to forgive that kind of thing, but I don't know, when people are struck by grief, usually their patience and tolerance for that kind of thing is pretty low. Alright. I don't know what the next step is. Like, what else do we do right now other than go back into the foyer and just huddle, bunker down until morning? Like, I'm not sure where we go from here. But surely our dear leader Natsuhi will have some glorious plans for us. And they'll be great, because she's best girl. Anyway, thank you all for watching. We're down 10 people. And we'll probably be down some more soon, because it's 3 episodes of death in a row. Ha ha ha. Anyway. Okay, guys. I will catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.